Well, hell, heck, hello. God, my words are bad today. Can't talk very well. Maybe I should just be quiet all day. Anyway, it's welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. It is just before 11, and I'm supposed to be in a coffee meeting, lean coffee meeting. I'm going to be late. Anyway, got to do some things before I went off and did the programming. It's been a busy morning. It's been a busy couple days. I apologize for not doing a show the past couple days, but that's okay. We'll catch up with it today because there's a lot of good stuff that I'm going to share that I did over the past couple days. So over the past couple days, I had a sprint review, a retro, and a planning session. And I'm going to wrap all of that up in a pretty bow and what you can do as a Scrum Master or Agile coach in your planning session. How those two other, that's why we do them before the planning and how that feeds into maybe some discussion questions you might ask your team. And this could play for anything you want, whether it be an IT team or a non-IT team, a business, just a team, a group of people that you work with. How do you deal with feeding it into your planning session or your commitments to producing for the next week or next time backs or the next sprint? So let's talk about that today. So Tuesday, I had a team. They did a sprint review, and it was more technical based and things they wanted to do and improve their technical abilities, which was cool. I'm glad they actually did it. I've been asking for stuff like that forever, so they finally did it, and they demonstrated something they didn't. Hopefully, the whole team will be doing it. Then we had a retrospective. We talked about some things, and sometimes in the retrospectives, one of the things that teams come up with is how they want to improve what they do, the quality aspect of the process, whatever it would be. So there's a couple things you get to review. Someone demonstrating software. Do we want to include the software or a new capability or a new sales technique or whatever it is with the rest of the team? Do we want to adapt it? That's what the review is about. And then the retro is how do we get better? So the next day, which was yesterday, I had a sprint planning session with the team. And they went through their whole list of all the stuff they want to do, and I'm pretty much quiet the whole time. I asked a couple questions just from what I heard from before and just the way I saw reactions to people to some things. Maybe I asked a follow-up question to see if that spurred any discussion in the group, but nothing to be critical of or just something to make sure they did do cover a topic. But in the end, the one new tool that they had developed for their technology, I didn't really hear anything about an item or something in the backlog. And me, when I'm a Scrum Master, to be honest with you, when there's a new technology thing, I always make it a task or story in my backlog. I don't care what people say about it's only business product stuff. I don't care. I'm tracking it in the backlog so that we get it done in a sprint. Just my way of doing it. I don't worry about whether or not it's an actual product per se that gets delivered, but it's something that we have to do as a group because it takes away bandwidth and work time from the team. So I put it in there. What I asked was this. I said they came up with their points and the number of issues they want to do and all that kind of stuff for the sprint, and it had their commitment. So that's the question. It says, did you all include the idea of enhancing your skills or your quality based on adding this new capability in your coding to all these stories? Now, when you do that, I said, are you still comfortable with the amount of work that you are committing to in this sprint based on adding that extra layer of work? Because, and of course, they all shook their head. Yes, of course, we're okay, Greg, because they do it all the time. But you got to ask the question because you got to make them think about it. Because there's so many times where I've been to me where the manager would say, well, the team said they could do it all. I'm like, there's no data saying they can do all this work. It's not going to happen, right? So I've seen it both ways, but you do need to ask the question because you need to make them think about a couple things. One, they may change the commitment level in the sprint because they realize they got a lot more extra work to do because they're improving the quality aspect of it. Two, it may just remind them that what we talked about a couple of days ago that they need to start doing in their work. So it does both, it gets them thinking down that path because you can't control them. You can't tell them outright, do this, do that, do this, because you'll never get your work done. If you did that, you just encourage them to take it on and ask for how it went, right? So in the sprint planning, I took what was, and I do this with retros too. Like if they come up with a new process, I'll bring it up in the planning. Okay, from what we talked about the other day in the retro, and you want to incorporate that new capability or a new process, how does that impact your commitment level? Because then you still do all the work you're committing to from a product backlog perspective. I always ask that question based on things that come out of reviews or retros and how that impacts. And I should turn off my phone because my phone might go off because it just beeped at me. Apparently, I have to walk the dog. Well, he would appreciate that. So you want to do that just to make sure they're taking that into account. So as a coach or Scrum Master, I prefer the Scrum Master doing it if that's what they're doing. Is I will meet with them ahead of time. Like if there was stuff in the sprint review or the retro, I would kind of meet off table, offline with the Scrum Master saying, hey, how are you planning to address these things that were brought up in the reviews and retros, and see if they got that in there on that way. If that's not part of that discussion or they weren't part of that, I would bring them up and make sure that we're in sync on those things because it's important, right? Because if no one brings it up, they'll never change. So your job as a change agent, as a Scrum Master or coach, is to bring that stuff up. So I wanted to bring that up to you. How do you combine that information into the planning session, which is the requirements of the session? What are the basics? That's part of the four R's. And then we talked about the review, the retro, those 2 R's, and the third one of requirements. And the roles, because talk about Scrum Master should be doing this, or the Agile coach. Some people say, well, it's, the team does it. Yes, the team does it, but your job as a coach is to sometimes get the team to where they didn't think they were or didn't realize they weren't at yet. That's what a coach does, right? That's what a coach does. Coach just doesn't sit there and click the paycheck. Coach goes and pushes you to the level above where you're at. That's your job. You can't just let it they'll figure it out. No, you push them, right? Some people say, oh, you shouldn't push them. They should just figure it out themselves. I'm like, yeah, then they don't need you. That's all I got to say. So did that, took the retro, took the review results or pieces of that data, incorporated it into questions for the review to confirm whatever they're going to read on they're going to do. How does that affect their ability to get the new workload done? Do we need to go back and forth or lower if they need to? Because I'll be honest with you, anytime you do a new thing, it will slow you down. They're going to say it's not, but it will. So I already expect if they actually do it, and if nothing gets, here's a little trick. Nothing actually slows down, then I know they didn't implement it. Okay. So then I can come back and say, I didn't see any impact. Did you guys implement this stuff? Oh no, we forgot to do that, Greg. That's a telltale sign. If it doesn't come down in what they promised, then they didn't do it. Okay. And it's okay. You don't yell at them. You just kind of like nudge them a little bit. I thought you were going to do this. Oh no. Yeah, we did. We didn't do it. We'll get it now. So as long as they're in the right direction. So I wanted to share that with you today. Just some of my experiences from my past reviews and retros, how I took that information and applied it to the next sprint planning session. And again, this applies to work too. Like if you implement a new point of sale system as a business or a new piece of software and we build the software for them, you got to give them a little bandwidth to improve the process and be realistic on what they're committing to, and that they really can't commit to their normal average operating level because they are learning something new and implementing that. With that, I'm going to wish you all a happy day, happy scrumming, and I'm going to go off to my lean coffee discussion I got to do the group I'm with that I'm late for. So take care, everyone. Have a great day and enjoy. Have fun. I hope you enjoy your holiday. I should be doing a show tomorrow, but I don't know. But we'll see. Take care, everyone.